Starting a clothing brand is easy. Making your first $10,000, that is a completely different story. When I launched my brand, I had zero experience, zero connections, and only $100 in my bank account. But I figured out a system that actually worked. And today I will be sharing that system with you guys. So I went from being a cart pusher at Fred Meyer's with no money, working a job that I absolutely hated, to shipping out over 3,000 orders with my clothing brand and making over six figures. And it took me exactly 199 days to make my first $10,000. And if you follow the steps in this video, I guarantee you can do it so much faster than that. And then at the end of the video, I will share the number one mistake that almost made me quit before I ever hit 10K. So stick around for that. So when I first launched my brand, I thought I had everything figured out. I spent weeks perfecting the designs, building a Shopify store, and then finally launched, expecting a bunch of sales to just roll right in. And here's the thing, I did get some sales, but they were only from friends and family. My first collection dropped on May 28th, 2021, and it was all just a bunch of one-of-one hand-sewn pieces. Not gonna lie, it was not great. I still didn't have any, real customers. No strangers were buying. No one outside my circle knew I even existed. So I started thinking, how do I get new people to actually want my brand? How do I actually make this shit work? Can't just grow the brand off of friends and family orders only. So a couple of weeks later, I pulled an all-nighter screen printing 50 t-shirts for a pop-up the next day. So then the next day I show up feeling great, put all of my stuff inside of a camping tent. The wind blew the tent over, all of the clothes got rained on, and I didn't sell a single t-shirt. So that one definitely hurt. However, everything changed when I dropped this one product and I finally figured out what actually sells. Okay, so these are the 5 steps to make $10,000 with your clothing brand. Step number 1 is making a standout product. So most new brands fail before they even launch because their product is not unique. They see other brands doing well, and instead of designing something new and unique, all they do is just copy and paste their designs. And the problem is, if your product looks like everybody else's, then nobody has any reason to buy from you. My first real hit, the bottle opener trucker hat, came from experimenting. I was literally just messing around, combining different ideas, playing with different influences and different styles, and then that's when I landed on something that was actually unique that people had not seen before. This hat is not the best design in the world. It was not some next level design, but it did have something to make it stand out. So it was an eye-catching piece, and because of that, people bought it and people shared it, sent it to their friends, and then I sold out. Don't just copy other people. If you just copy, your product blends in, nobody has any reason to buy from you at all, and it's just lazy and you're a loser. Like, come on. Okay, now step 2 is creating content that sells. One of the biggest mistakes beginner brand owners make is posting terrible fucking content. Like, it's just so ass, nobody's buying it. This is the type of photos I was showing people expecting to actually buy it. And if your content is mid, your sales are going to be mid. It's literally that simple. There are 3 things you need to focus on if you want good content for your clothing brand. The first thing is a good background. So people don't realize how much a good background actually makes a difference. The first one, ugly, messy, distracting. Obviously, very little effort has been put into this. Now, the second one, clean, simple, makes the product stand out. It actually looks good. Very, very big difference. So the best thing that you can do is find a clean, neutral background that you can use consistently time and time again. A clean, concrete background is really what's working best right now. Really just any background that is clean and it's not going to be distracting. So you just want to make sure it's not taking away from the product itself. And if you don't have a good background to use, what you can do is go to your local art store and buy a white foam board for like $5. Instant, clean, white background. And it also makes it super easy to just remove the background in Photoshop and you can add a new background to it. The next thing is lighting. Bad lighting will ruin your content. Most people just take pics whenever, not thinking about, what time of day it is or how the shadows are hitting the product. And a key tip is just that natural light is your best friend. So figure out what time of day works best for your shots and then find a spot that gives even soft lighting. You just want to make sure that it looks super clean. There's not any super harsh shadows and stuff like that. And if you really want to take your product shots to the next level, you can rent a studio, but that's going to cost you at least $100 to $200. Now, the third thing is editing. So one of the biggest mistakes that beginners make in the beginning is just posting raw iPhone pictures. And I used to do it too. And it was just stupid. So now every single product picture that I take gets edited before I actually post it. So that means adjusting the exposure, the brightness, the contrast, cleaning up any dust or little imperfections, stuff like that. So even small edits like that can make a huge difference. And I'm telling you, when I see brands on Instagram, it's so easy to tell if it's a beginner brand because the content itself is just not good. You can tell it's not edited. You can tell the background is shit. You can tell the lighting is shit. And it's really not that hard either. So step 3 is actually getting your product seen. So here's the thing, when I dropped that bottle opener trucker hat, it was not an instant success. I only sold like 3 of them in the first week, and again, it was only to friends and family. So at that point I started thinking, okay, I have this cool product, but how the hell do I actually get people to see it? Because having a great product doesn't mean shit if nobody knows that it exists. So once I really figured that out, everything changed. And I made $321 in a single day. And then the next day after that, $570. And so that was the moment that I was like, holy shit, this actually can work. So what worked for me back then was paying archive pages to post my products. And if you don't know, these are Instagram accounts that only post fashion content. They had audiences full of people actively looking for clothing to buy. So I would pay $30 for a post on one of these accounts. And then as soon as it went live, I vividly remember this one post that I paid for, literally $30. And as soon as the post went live, I got like 10 orders within 2 hours. And that was the day that I made 570 in a single day, was when that archive page went live. The funny thing is that strategy is dead. It does not work anymore. Archive pages do not work like they used to. Their reach is generally worse. A lot of them are hiding likes now, and just the engagement is lower. And a lot of them, honestly, too, just post like furniture now and other like random eye-catching things, not as many clothes. So anyways, if that doesn't work, then what does work now? And honestly, it is the exact same process. It's just a different vehicle. So marketing is not that complicated. To dumb it down, you just need to get your product in front of a lot of people and in front of the right people if you want to actually be successful. So here are 3 methods that are actually working well right now. So the first thing is organic marketing. Organic marketing just means any marketing that is free. You can literally get millions of views just posting videos on Instagram and TikTok without spending a single cent. Now, obviously, this is a lot easier said than done, and actually succeeding with organic marketing is pretty hard to do, but I have some tips to make it easier. So what I would recommend is to recreate what's working, but put your own spin on it and really just be consistent. So post every single day. It's really just a game of consistency and just figuring out what works over time. Most people just make the mistake of not being consistent, and they're too lazy to post those videos every day, or they just can't lock into a consistent schedule to do it. But time and time again, I see brands that do lock into that consistent schedule, posting every single day, and they just keep experimenting. And then eventually, they start finding what works, and then every video just gets more and more views, or they start hitting viral videos consistently, and now they're making a lot more money. The second thing is paid ads. So if you really know your audience, you can put your product in front of the exact people who will buy it. You really need to have a good understanding of who your audience actually is to have profitable ads. And so this is why those archive pages worked so well for me. The people who followed those accounts were already looking for unique new clothes to buy, and they trusted the page. So when they saw my trucker hat, they were ready to buy it. But what I do today instead is just running Instagram and Facebook ads. So if you're just starting, you can just boost a post for $3 to $5 a day and then let Instagram do the targeting for you. So you don't have to do any interests and stuff. Instagram has a pretty smart algorithm and can just find the right people for you. And it is much better to do a low spend over a long time frame than a large spend in a small time frame. Or if you want better control and better results, you can go into Meta Ads Manager and set up a sales campaign. But Meta Ads are a lot more complicated and harder to learn. However, definitely worth learning because, like I said, you can get much better results, and it's just so much easier to, scale those ads and keep getting good results. Now, the third thing is influencer marketing. So find influencers who actually fit your brand. So people who would genuinely wear your clothes. Don't go for huge influencers. Instead, hit up people in the range of like 5,000 to 15,000 followers. Those people usually have really engaged audiences, and most of the time they also won't be charging you money. So you just send them free product and then they post photos wearing it. This works because you are borrowing trust from that influencer who already has an entire audience of people who trust them and also likes how they dress. And not only that, you are now getting really good content that you can use in your ads, your marketing, and even on your website. All right, so step 4 is building up your community. Getting sales is dope, But if you're only focused on one-time buyers, then you are not doing it right. So the brands that actually last, they aren't just selling clothing at the end of the day. They are building a community. They are building something that people want to be a part of. So when people feel connected to your brand, they aren't just buying one time. They will keep coming back, and they will also bring others with them. So returning customers is a pretty huge factor of growth for your brand. And that's how you go from struggling for sales to having a brand that grows by itself. So every single drop, you have a core audience of people who are going to support you no matter what. That's only if you can actually build a really strong community though. So there are 3 key things you need to do to build a real community around your brand. The first thing is to collect emails and phone numbers. Most people do not buy the first time they see your brand. So if you're not collecting your info, you are just losing money. The easiest way is to set up a pop-up on your site that gives people 10% off their first order in exchange for their email and phone number. So now instead of hoping they come back, you can directly market to them every single time you have a new release. I personally use Klaviyo, and I've also used Postscript before, but you can use whatever. All right, so second is repost your customers. So obviously this step comes after you've actually had some sales, but people want to feel like they are part of something. So when somebody buys from you and posts a picture in your clothes, and then you repost it, that makes it so that they are more attached to your brand. And not only that, but you can make a customer's highlight on Instagram. So anytime somebody tags your brand, you can repost it to your story and add it to that highlight on Instagram. And this does 2 pretty fucking big things. So the first thing is that it makes your customers feel special. It makes it feel like they're part of something bigger. But even more importantly, it gives your brand social proof. So people see that highlight and think, oh shit, this brand is actually legit. They're shipping orders. People are buying the products, and people are actually liking the products. Obviously, they wouldn't repost it if they don't like the products and, the fit is terrible and all that shit. This is so key because consumers today are always looking at what other people are doing. Nobody wants to be the only person wearing your brand. So give them proof that they won't be. If they see other people wearing your brand, it makes them want to join in. And not to mention, it's also a great incentive for people to literally market your brand for free. They'll post a pic on their story knowing that you will repost it, which shows it to all of their followers. That's literally free marketing. And then third is building actual relationships with your first customers. When I first started, I would personally DM people who bought from me, tell them thank you, and then ask them for any feedback. And a lot of people ignore this, but it honestly does make a pretty huge difference. When people feel seen by your brand, they will become loyal to it. And not only that, they will tell you exactly what they want next and how you can actually improve your brand. So step 5 is reinvesting and scaling. So if you just made your first real money with your clothing brand, don't go blow it on some $1,000 Balenciaga boots. I've seen it too many times. People make a couple $1,000s and then pull the money out, flex a little bit, and then wonder why their brand is not growing. It's like, dude, you're fucking cooked. And now you have no money to actually reinvest in the brand. So the first money you make with your brand is not for you. It is for the brand. If you actually want to scale, you need to put that money back into the business so you can keep making more money. So the first thing that you should do is really just to reinvest into better products. So this could be investing into higher quality materials, or it could be investing into better designs. So maybe you actually hire a really talented designer who can design your next winning product. Because imagine if you have success this first time, how much better the second time could be once you've taken everything you've already learned from the first time and then, made an even better design. The results will only get better. Or maybe it's investing into better blanks, heavier fabrics, more premium materials, or just really going all in on the details. So maybe some custom thank you cards, custom packaging, just little things like that that make your brand feel more premium. And people really love a brand that puts in that extra effort, and it will really make you stand out from all the mid brands out there right now. If you've already found something that works, don't change the strategy. Just keep pouring more fuel onto the fire. So reinvest your time into what has proven to work already. If a certain post was bringing in sales, then put some ad money behind it. And if a certain influencer got you some good traffic, send them some more pieces. And if a certain product is performing better than others, push that product harder or design more pieces like it. And then this is where the ads come in too. You don't need to spend thousands on ads. But if you do have $3 to $10 a day to put behind content that's already working, that money will go a pretty fucking long way. And that is really the key, not spending money on ads with content that hasn't proven to work already. Because like I said, and I will say it again, you are going to be wasting your money. Now, the next thing to reinvest your time and money into is your brand's overall presentation. So perception is everything. People judge your brand's quality before they even touch your product. So the way your content, your website, your packaging, all of that stuff, the way that it looks really fucking matters. And this is why there are brands that are honestly just selling mid products, but they're still able to sell out because they have really good presentation. I'm sure you guys have seen it. So invest in a photographer, a photo studio, hire some models, or upgrade your website, maybe hire a website designer. You want everything about your brand to feel intentional. And lastly, just investing into more learning. So most people hit their first couple sales and think they've solved the fucking problem. They got it all figured out. The brands that actually scale and keep dominating over time are the brands that continue learning. So that could mean, paying some money to get a course or like a mentorship or something like that. But it could also just mean investing your time to study brands that are already winning, or, going over to YouTube University and just watching a bunch of videos like this one and learn from people who have already done what you're trying to do. That will save you years of trial and error. So study what mistakes other people have made so you don't have to make the same mistakes. And if you want to learn from somebody who's already been through it all, then you already know who to tap in with. Anyways, though, scaling is not about doing some random shit or finding some secret hack to blow up overnight. It is literally just about doing what's already working, but on a bigger scale. Keep reinvesting, keep improving, and that is how you'll make your first $10,000 and beyond that. All right, so the biggest mistake that I made in the beginning was short-term thinking. I had the mindset that everything was supposed to just happen really fast. I was reading all of these books, watching all of these YouTube videos, and seeing people blow up overnight. And when I was 18, I genuinely believed I was going to be a millionaire by 20 years old. So I actually believe that. So when things weren't working out like I had expected them to, I started doubting everything I was doing. And I was just thinking, like, maybe this isn't the right path for me. Like, it's fun, but, can this actually go anywhere? Started realizing that it was a lot harder than I thought. And when that happens, when things don't click instantly, that's when all these new shiny objects start looking real nice. Like, oh shit, I just saw this 18-year-old kid get rich overnight with crypto. Maybe I should try that. Or like, oh shit, my friend Jake, he's making crazy money right now drop shipping, maybe that will work. Or honestly, even worse, oh, this new side hustle looks really promising. Maybe I'll start trying that out, but I'll keep doing the brand on the side to keep it going. Bro, I promise you none of it's gonna work if you're constantly jumping from thing to thing. And honestly, that is what most people do. They quit before they ever get good. And so here's what I realized is that I was the problem. It wasn't working because I sucked at it. I had no idea what I was doing. My designs were not great, even though I thought they were. My marketing was terrible, and I just didn't know how to get sales. And guess what? Every single new venture that I would have tried would have had the exact same problems. Not having sales, not knowing what to design. These are normal problems, and every single person is going to face them at some point. But the only people who succeed are the ones who push through and actually solve those big problems instead of just switching lanes, chasing the next hot business model. So that is when I actually locked in. I told myself, no more jumping ship, no more new ideas, no more distractions. This is what I'm going to do. It's like, you know what you need to do. You're watching this video right now, but you know in the back of your mind, you should be posting videos. You have a pretty good idea of what products work well and which ones don't. And it's so easy to like watch videos and see like, oh, what's the secret hack? How do I do this in a much shorter time frame than everybody else? People just want the rewards without actually putting in the effort that it takes to get there. And so the moment that I truly stopped short-term thinking is really when things actually changed. So here's one of the best pieces of advice that I can give you if you're lazy, unmotivated, or always switching to new things. If that sounds like you and you really, really want your clothing brand to work, all you have to do is invest $10,000 into my brand new course. No, I'm just kidding. Seriously though, bet a friend or family member that you'll stick with it for at least 1 year, maybe 2, maybe even 5 years. And if you quit the day that you throw in the towel, you owe them $1,000 or something else that would be really painful for you to do. something that you would actually like really hate to do. So I don't know, whatever it is, posting on Instagram that you quit because you couldn't handle it and you're just a little bitch. Or maybe it's shaving your head. Whatever would make you actually commit to it. Like, it has to like really scare you. Because the truth is, if you really want this to work, you need to be locked in for the long haul. This can't just be some fun little side hustle that you hope works out. I promise it is not going to work if that is your mindset. So no distractions, no half-assing it, and no quitting early. If you can do that, I guarantee you will get there over time. Okay, that was a lot of information, but if you take anything away from this video, then let it be this. Starting a clothing brand is easy, but actually growing it is hard as fuck, and you will need to grind for it every single day to make it work. So you need a product that actually stands out. You need clean content that makes people not just want it, but actually need it. You need to get that product in front of the right eyes, and you need a community so people keep coming back and spread your brand through word of mouth. And fifth, when you finally do get some success, you need to reinvest your time and money to continue scaling. I promise you, this is not luck. Brands that are growing are not just throwing shit at the wall and hoping that something sticks. Promise you, they're being intentional and they're learning from what works and doubling down on it. So if you're serious about making this work, take what I just told you and actually apply it. Don't just keep watching videos, never actually applying any of the information. So many people just make the mistake of watching all these videos over and over, and it makes them feel like they're productive, like they're actually learning something, but they don't learn anything because they never put it into practice. If you don't change your behavior after watching this video or any other video that you watch, then you haven't actually learned anything at all. So go and apply something that I just told you. Anyways, if you want me to go deeper on anything, just drop a comment below and I will break it down in another video. And if you want one-on-one help from me to help you scale your brand faster, then hit the first link in the description. And to watch me make $10,000 in just 6 days with my clothing brand, then watch this video next. All right, I will catch you guys in the next vid. Peace.